Jeremy. Well, as you think about your New Year's resolutions, you might add preparing for the unexpected to your list. Shawnee County Emergency Management Director Dusty Nichols is with us. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
And you watch the forecast very intently because one of the things you worry about is winter weather. Yeah,
there's always winter weather. I mean, it's Kansas.
Winter, yeah.
There's spring weather and summer weather. We get it all. But
right.
Yeah, preparing for winter weather this time of year is just kind of common sense.
So when you think about preparedness, especially as we enter the new year, what is like top of mind, number one thing we need to do and know?
That's a really difficult question because different families are in different situations. So for me, starting with the end in mind, where do I want to be? Where's that goal? Do I want to have a communications plan or am I got the plan and now I'm looking for a kit? So trying to figure out that gap of where you're at is really probably the first thing you should do.
What do we have to keep in mind when it comes to communications? It's important.
Sure. I would say the number one thing is don't count on any form of communication as the only way. So have multiple versions or multiple ways to get a warning, whether it's a weather radio or a regular radio, listening local, whether it's TV, handheld, whatever, your phone. But having the battery backup, having those power things, those power sources ready to go as well.
What about communicating with our families?
Have that plan in place. So if something happens, there's an automatic trigger. If I can't get a hold of you by 6 o'clock p.m., then you need to go here. Having those things set up and having those safe places ready to go and having backups. So the communication plan is really, really important, but also having backup plans in safe places to go, especially for kids.
So you said communication was one thing, and then what was the second half?
Oh, if you want to build a kit. So
building a kit.
Building a kit.
I guess there's probably more than one situation we need a kit for.
Sure, there's the summer kit and the winter kit, and the
car kit, and the house kit,
and the house kit, and all
the
those
storm
things.
shelter kit.
So where do you plan to be at this time of year? If you're most of the time at home, or if you're in the car or work, those are the three general places where people generally are. That's where you live your life. So having those kits and being prepared for traveling. Your car kit, as you said. Do you have a snow shovel? Do you have ice melt? Do you have those things in your car ready to go? And then at home, do you have backup power? Do you have a generator? If not, do you have medications? And do you have medications that you have to keep cool? Sometimes you can just put them outside if it's cold enough. So think
I grew
those
up in Wisconsin,
things.
Yes. We just put things outside a lot.
Sure, just think those things through. So that's really part of it's the plan and the kit together. What do you need? And if you have certain restrictions for those or certain things that need to happen, you need to think them through.
What situations does this apply to? Because like we mentioned weather, but that's just one thing.
Sure, it kind of goes back to making a preparedness resolution. What do you plan to do this year? Having that end goal in mind. So if you don't have a kit, maybe, once a paycheck, go to the dollar store and buy those warming things or something like that. Put them in your kit a little bit at a time and build your kit up. The other thing is taking a CPR class. Hunt up on Google search or whatever and see who's teaching CPR locally or first aid classes or stop the bleed classes.
I was just going to say, and the stop the bleed
are
classes.
Fantastic, yeah. Find out where those are and take those classes. And that's kind of have that end goal in mind. I'm going to be more prepared by the end of the year. So you have your goal, you have your time frame, and you have the path to get there. So thinking with the end in mind.
We talk about this with our financial planning guest a lot, that you can't just like do it and forget it. Right. So how does that apply when it comes to emergency preparedness? Interesting
you say that. So we talked about building a plan. Every year you should review that plan, because if you do have, you had your communications plan and your kids know to go to 2 houses down, well, they may have moved. So now all those things were in your plan, are they still valid? So you have to validate that plan yearly. So if you do that in January, you pick a certain day of the year. September is usually National Preparedness Month, so we push it then, but everybody has their own time frame. So,
and what things in your kit can maybe go bad as well that you would not need to
Exactly. If you have a first aid kit that has certain ointments or something, and they may not be as strong, if they're in there for 2-3 years or something like that. So there's those kinds of things, and then any kind of medications that can go bad. But there's the limits on batteries and all those kinds of things that might be in your plan, or in your kit. Yeah, you got to check them at least once a year.
And keep the batteries charged.
Yes.
I've been guilty of that lately, letting the battery kind of get down below that 10%.
When it happens to me is I get a new phone and I don't put the spare cord in there. So I have a new cord. So
even the emergency preparedness manager, folks.
Learn from me, folks.
Has his moments. Dusty, thank you so very much, and we look forward to continuing to visit with you in the year ahead. Your resolution should be to come visit us regularly.
I will do.
All right.
And be safe, everyone.
Thank you. And we're going to look at some of those top scams. Be prepared, know what to look for, see how you can keep from falling victim next.